Шановні колеги, ми продовжуємо роботу.
Colleagues, we continue our working day, and now I give the floor to Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. During the last 24 hours, the number of enemy shellings sharply increased in all the regions of ATO, and it reached 94 instances. So this activity was observed 3 months ago in April, and also the intensity of fire delivered by the militants increased. Yesterday, for more than 40 times, the occupants used mortars and cannons. Now about the situations in the areas. In the Lugansk area, in Stanitsa Luganska, for 1.5 hours, there was firing between the Ukrainian forces and the militants. The militants who control high bank of Seversky Donetsk opened fire at night, and during the day there were several enemy provocations in Krymske and at Zaitsevo checkpoint. And also we remind that this checkpoint is not in operation because of the enemy and because it is not safe for civilians. The most intensive firing is near Popasna. In the first part of the day, the enemy delivered a number of non-precision shellings using grenade launchers and small arms. At the same time, in the evening, they used heavy weapons, such as mortars and 122 mm cannons, howitzers. And they launched about 20 mines and 44 shells at our positions, and it was delivered from the side of Kalinova. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in Lugansk area, there were 17 enemy shellings, including 6 with the use of heavy weapons. After powerful art training and after midnight, in the region of Troitska, a subversive group advanced. It consisted of more than 20 people, and our forces got reinforcement, and the attack of the enemy failed. Ukrainian servicemen successfully battled, and they forced the enemy to retreat. Our units didn't sustain any losses, and subversive group of the enemy left behind 3 heavily wounded who were seized by our servicemen. And the platoon senior lieutenant nicknamed Did and the machine gun operator nicknamed Grisha were the most successful in this battle. So 39-year-old sniper Nataim Sakirov, this is the militant, he died soon after this battle, and his documents were seized, his passport and his military card, and he was the citizen of Russia. He came to Donbass from Omsk. So those militants who were seized, they say that they were at the position of commander of platoon and commander of company. So in the Donetsk area, there were 2 powerful artillery shellings delivered by the militants, and both of them were to the southwest from Gorlovka in Novgorodska and Nikolaevka Druga. They launched more than 70 shells at our positions. They delivered fire from 122 mm and 152 mm artillery systems. Mortars were used by the enemy more frequently. They deliver fire during 24 hours, and there is no calm areas on the front line. The hottest area is Little Darska Bulge and on the perimeter of occupied Gorlovka and Avdiivka production area, and at the front line between Opatna and Krasnogorivka. The shelling is delivered for about 10 and 15 minutes and delivered from the distance of about 5 kilometers. The Ukrainian forces returned fire. On the whole, in the Donetsk area, there were 48 enemy shellings, and 23 of them with the use of heavy weapons. So the majority of all the shellings is in this area of Donetsk. So Mariupol area, Military actions continue along the front line and except suburbs of Dokuchaevsk. In the day and at night, the enemy uses mortars, launching more than 160 mines at our positions. Also in Mariinka, Talakovka, and Shirokina, enemy snipers were active, who for many hours were hunting for our servicemen, and ATO forces returned fire. And the militants actively violate ceasefire during the daytime. So in Mariupol area, there were 29 enemy shellings, including 12 with the use of heavy weapons. During the last 24 hours, as a result of the military actions, 1 Ukrainian serviceman was killed and 10 were wounded. Also, 2 servicemen were shell-shocked, and also 1 serviceman was heavily wounded because of the explosion of the explosive device in the closest area of our forces. We express our condolences to the relatives of the servicemen. Losses of the enemy. During the last 24 hours, 3 militants died and 8 were wounded. These losses were sustained by 3rd Brigade, Gorlovka, 9th Regiment, and 7th Brigade, Debaltseva. According to Chief Intelligence Department of MOD, Russia got reinforcement, and they transferred the unit from 22nd Detached Brigade of Special Forces of Russian Federation, deployed in Stepnoy, Russian Rostov Oblast. These forces will be involved in subversive activities in the region of Mariinka. Also, 12 fuel tanks were brought from Russian Federation to Rovinka station. SBU confirmed the information of Chief Intelligence Department of MOD that the occupants involve to the ranks of the militants people with criminal past. So the officers detained former criminal who was serving his sentence in Yanakivsky detention facility, and he said that the militants actively involve criminals to their ranks, and they said that the commanders of the militants released 80% of those people who were serving their sentences. And the 9th Regiment sustained big losses in Mariupol area. Ukrainian servicemen continue to improve their battle skills. Students of Military Institute of Communication and Information take part in training. They will take part in radiochemical and biological security. They will also be involved in engineering, topography, and firing training. Also, they will pay special attention to set the facilities and to mask the communication facilities. Also, 3-day training is completed. In this training, the instructors from Great Britain were participating. So they improve the methodology, and they improve coordination with the alliance forces. So this July is the first anniversary of cooperation with Great Britain in the newly created center. During this year, several hundreds of paratroopers underwent courses at this center. Ukrainian servicemen continue to help residents of Kramatorsk. In the main square of the town, there was an event, Army to Children, where our servicemen showed to the young people their military vehicles, and they also there was a contest of children's paintings. Also in Kramatorsk, the Joint Center of Civil and Military Cooperation staff was open, and there were representatives of Red Cross, UNICEF, and humanitarian organization on demining Hello Trust. The center will allow to help local residents more effectively and to bring humanitarian help to frontline areas and villages. So this is all. So thank you. Do you have questions? If there is no, thank you. Thank you. Dear colleagues, next event.